Our Guardians is here to present a case study on OKTA data breach, which happened in October 2023. OKTA, as everyone knows, is an endpoint protector by itself, and it was very sensational to read about this breach, so we are presenting it here. I am here to present about the critique of the response phases of this incident. Coming to first preparation phase, OKTA had a password manager and privilege access management in place existing. Uh, but they did have some gaps which led to this breach. So I rate them 4 out of 5. Coming to detection phase, the detection really took a long time and was a very great drawback for Okta. Only after the third customer reported the suspicious activity did they start to take actions. Moving to the containment phase, I would rate 3.5 out of 5 because it nearly took 2 weeks to contain the action before the fourth customer was targeted for the compromise. Talking about the eradication phase, they did pretty well compared to the other three phases. So I'm rating them 4.5 out of 5. The action they did was disabling compromised service account and block the use of personalized Google profiles in all Okta laptops. Coming to the remediation phase, they performed really well because they took all the necessary actions to prevent all such future breaches. They implemented zero standing privileges for Okta admins. MFA was deployed, and in dynamic zones, ability to detect and block requests from anonymizers was also implemented. And customers can now apply IP binding to Okta products and admin consoles. And also, they enforced allow list for network zones for the APIs. So this is about the critic of response phases, and they get a 5 out of 5 for the remediation. Now I move on to my team member Liti.
My job is to explain the threat type here, which is insider threat. And it's not just an insider, it's a compromised insider threat, since the employee credential was stolen, and that credential was used by the attacker to access the service account. So so it was done because the employee had logged in to using his personal Google account and in the Okta managed laptop, and saved the credentials of the service account to his personal Google account. And when the personal some device or the Google account got compromised, so that's how the attacker was able to steal his credentials. So coming to the prevention and detection techniques, unfortunately for the Okta, they themselves had no detection techniques. It was their customers who detected for them. So these are the customers: 1Password, 1Password Beyond Trust, and Cloudflare. The 1Password team was the first to detect it. Actually, they were able to detect it when they got an email. One of their employee got an email notification when a report containing list of admins was generated by the attacker. So that's how they were able to detect. Then Beyond Trust was the second to detect. They had their Identity Security Insight tool, which not only detected but was also instrumental in blocking the access, all access, and stop the attacker from further damaging them. And then Cloudflare used zero trust access gateway and data loss prevention techniques to prevent attack on them. So these were the prevention detection techniques. Now moving to the next part is the description of the attack vector, which is, as I have already mentioned, it's a compromised insider threat. And as I've already mentioned, it was through the personal Google account that the attacker was able to compromise this the service account. So the coming to the mitigation strategies, since I have explained all the in the previous slides, the mitigation strategy the company used was, first of all, they disabled that compromised service account. Secondly, they blocked use of personal Google profiles on the company's Google Chrome. Third, they enhanced monitoring for customer support system. Okta has deployed additional detection and monitoring rules for the customer support system. And then fourth, as Darshan already mentioned, it's they have implemented binding Okta administrator session tokens based on network location. These are the description of attack vector. Now I hand over to Basil.
Okay, thank you, Liti. So the primary vulnerability in this case study was the compromise of a service account in Okta's customer support system, and the attacker gained unauthorized access to the files containing session tokens for Okta's customers, and this led to the potential for session hijacking attacks. So the reason for this incident was the service accounts login details were stored in an employee's personal Google account, and it leads to and it make a vulnerable. So next slide. So to prevent these similar exploits in future, it is crucial to address the following aspects like secure handling of service account credentials. Like the employee should avoid saving service account credential in their personal accounts or on their personal devices. And next, multi-factor authentication. Uh, this involves multi-factor authentication for accessing sensitive systems and service accounts. So even if credentials are compromised, the MFA adds a additional layer of security. And next, logging and monitoring. Enhancing logging and monitoring capabilities to detect and respond to suspicious activities promptly. And this includes monitoring for unusual access patterns, especially to sensitive files and service accounts. And next, network location-based security controls. So utilize network location-based security controls such as Okta's session token binding based on network location. And this ensures that administrators are forced to re-authenticate if a network change is detected. And next is zero standing privileges for Okta admins. So ensure that the admin roles are requested, approved, and assigned for the duration that the access is needed. And finally, the regular security audits and assessments and employee training and awareness. So by addressing these recommendations, organization can significantly reduce the risk of similar exploits in future. So now Paul will continue.
Yeah, so I'm going to describe about the client's handling of threat. Like Okta has about like 18,000 customers, which provides identity services. So overall, uh, so even though initially the Okta failed to detect the breach, but like Okta has very well respond to the attack. First of all, they engaged a cyber security Strasbourg forensics firm to investigate the breach, and also they collaborated the law enforcement to find out to take legal action against the threat actors, and also was like Okta timely released recommendations and like recommendations to the customers for mitigating the threats, and and like and also the remediation steps was from the Oktas, such as like the enhancing monitoring and implementing the IP-based binding to the tokens, etc. was like outstanding. And the weakness in the next slide, moving to next slide. The weak areas in the Okta's response was the initial assessment shortcomings, like means the Okta's failed to identify the logs the attacker downloaded, or attacker was able to download if our file which contains the sessions of all customers. So this was the weak areas of Okta's response. Moving to next slide. This was the recommendations which our team will take if we were in that place, and that's allow monitoring, implement threat hunting, and enhance the communication strategy. And moving to next slide, the lessons learned from the this incident is like the scope assessment is crucial. Initially, Octas was unable to like find the scope of the incident. Later, they only understand the whole customers were impacted by the incident. And next one is continuous identity monitoring, and like monitoring the new activities in the identity domain. And next, the most important lessons learned from this incident is the different like maintaining the separation between personal and work accounts. Employees should be properly trained for their saving their work credentials. And moving to next slide, like yeah, like it will be very crucial to implement the uh, it will be very beneficial if we implement the multi-factor authentication to all the employees uh, in the organization. And and the final one is like bind sessions to ASN feature, which has like if the IP address changes during a session, the session will be like eliminated. This was one feature implemented by OKTA. These were all the recommendations we learned from this from this incident. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation.